Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Sometimes I feel sorry for all those kids that have to put up with their parents' crappy behavior. It's also pretty funny that she mentioned you wearing inappropriate clothes for the workplace, but couldn't use that to realize you weren't working? But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Indian Karen gets annoyed when I don't help her with her shopping. Well, today I was at Zara. Their sale had just begun. My Zara sale strategy is to check for what I like and then cross my fingers and hope the same stuff in my size is still available 2 to 3 weeks later when the prices are slashed to the lowest. I've managed to score shoes, including heels and boots, for as low as $5 to $13 and dresses for around $11 to $18, all rates converted from INR, Indian rupees, to US dollars. A lot of people don't get my train of thought, but if you look at it this way, when there's a sale, people tend to get impulsive and end up buying things they won't actually wear. I'm the same. That's why I waited for these slash prices until others have had their pick and leave it to the universe to see what remains for me. It works. Anyway, on to my story. I was looking at black boots. My current pair is on its last leg and I need to find a nice replacement. These sale items are marked down from $85 US to about $56 US. I was looking for styles I liked and checking to see if my size was available. I have huge feet, so most times I tend to get my size easily. I come across a pair I like and on closer inspection realized the pair I was looking at was paired incorrectly. They were two different styles of boots and weren't even the same length. They just had similar studs around the edge, so someone made an easy mistake and put them together. Probably an overworked retail staff member, since Zara really gets crazy over the weekends, especially when on sale. So I picked up the one I liked and tried it on. It fit well. So I looked around for the other missing shoe to complete the pair. I found it 12 to 13 boots away. Trying to do the decent thing, I swapped the wrong styles and matched the pairs, only to realize that one of the pairs I put together had two different sizes. Now I was latched into this. I felt like I couldn't just leave it like that. I remember once when my intern bought shoes from Zara in the past. I work in fashion and events and am a fashion stylist. They both happened to be different sizes. One was 39 and the other was 40. So yeah, I spent all of 3 minutes matching the pairs together, and then enters the antagonist of my story, an Indian Karen in traditional Indian outfit. She was clearly shopping for someone else, maybe a daughter? Anyway, as I was still squatting by the shoes I just put together, she walks right into me, causing me to almost lose my balance and demands in Hindi that I find a size 39 in the shoe I just placed down. Since I had a look at most of the shoes sizes merely a minute ago, I was able to point out where the correct size was. Also, thanks to my profession, I have the ability to look at a shoe and know its size without looking with an 85% accuracy. Indian Karen seems satisfied for a minute, and as I rise and turn to walk away, she stops me. She starts asking how long the sale will last. Using my knowledge, I said maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but said I wasn't sure. She didn't seem too happy with my response. Next, she pointed to a rack and asked why those denims weren't on sale, and again, I had no response. So I said, I don't know. She seemed to look disgusted with me. I started to politely explain how I don't work here, only to be interrupted by a younger, pretty girl, definitely her daughter, a modern version of Indian Karen. This girl has taken all her fashion and style tips from Instagram influencers, so she's on trend with her style. Of course, she's mixed at least 5 different trends together, which in my opinion is too many, but I can see the effort. She begins to grab the shoes from her mother while also juggling an ample amount of clothing in her hands, and just as she does, she drops a couple of pieces. I plan my exit while the mother and daughter are occupied getting their things in order. "Excuse me," the girl voice shoots out, and her mother stares daggers at me. As I was starting to walk away from them, her mother yells at me to get them a shopping bag. I point to a rack in the corner and say, "They're right there." The girl says, "Can you get them for us?" I was now enjoying myself because I kept thinking, OMG, I actually have a submission for Reddit. So I looked at the girl and said, "No." She looked surprised and her mother started to burst with rage. She then begins complaining to her daughter in Gujarati about what an annoying person I was and how unhelpful I was being, and how I'm not interested in my job. And it's a wonder how they hired me, since it seems that all I care about is only wearing makeup and pretty dresses that aren't work appropriate. I let her finish, and then I look squarely at the daughter and say, I don't work here. I'm shopping here, just like you two. Your mom asked for help with the shoes, so I helped her. But that's where I draw the line. I'm not getting you a shopping bag and holding your items for you. Because again, I don't work here. Then I look at the mother and say, You're welcome, by the way. The girl looks so embarrassed and apologizes to me. The mother looks all confused and still doesn't really understand what's just happened. The daughter drags her away and starts talking to her sharply in Gujarati. Well, I decide I've had enough of Zara for now and will return towards the end of this month. And our second story. Nope, still didn't scan. Texas has this strange idea that providing you a driver's license the day you go to the DMV is risky. As such, they give you a piece of paper printed out in black and white and mail you the actual license at a later date. This is a bit strange as it creates a period where people carry a valid legal document that looks like a fifth grader pasted a headshot into MS Paint. This created an awkward dynamic when I worked at a gas station. What do people go to gas stations for? After gas, the most common things are lottery, beer, and smokes. All these are age-restricted and have rather intense laws surrounding unlawful sales. To help avoid the nasty fines, etc. associated with these, my gas station had a pair of rules. For anyone you're not 100% sure is over 30, ask if they're over 30 and card them if you're not convinced they're older than 30 after said answer. Yes, the question was stupid, but whatever. Scan all IDs to ensure they're legitimate documents and not fakes. At their face, these sound reasonable, though the second caused an odd situation where fancier states had 3D barcodes instead of magnetic strips, meaning I couldn't sell. And this story's obviously heading towards the paper the DMV gives people. Here's one such story. It's a small rush, 3 to 4 people in line, and a younger guy comes in to buy beer. I'm honestly not sure if he's 21, so he's clearly not 30. I ask the nonsensical question, because really I can be fired if I just card him without asking the question. He tells me he's not older than 30. I ask for his ID and he fumbles to pull out the dreaded paper ID. Now, the combination of Texas and my employer have put everyone into a frustrating situation. In addition to Texas using these silly paper IDs, state law also requires you to get an acceptable ID before making any sale once you've asked for ID. In other words, you can't ask for ID and then determine you believe they're old enough. If you doubted enough to ask, you're liable for any sale. I see the ID and immediately feel bad. I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to take that ID. I recommend trying the gas station down the street that has different ownership and potentially more consumer-friendly rules. He provided the common response to ask why I can't take it. I explained to him the corporate policy requires I scan the magnetic strip of all IDs to verify their authenticity, and they've explicitly decided against waiving that for the paper IDs. He instantly gets furious and tells me to scan the ID. This one caught me a bit off, and I asked him, "Are you serious?" To which he told me, "Yes, now scan my damn ID." Befuddled, I take the folded up piece of paper and slide it through the magnetic strip reader. "Sorry, sir, it didn't scan." This started a chain of events where each thing seemed more unrealistic. His response was, "You didn't even try." I asked if he'd like me to try harder to scan the ID, and he said he did. I looked at him confused and tried several different ways to slide this folded up piece of paper, unfolded piece of paper, slowly slide, quickly slide, use multiple scanners, etc. to get it to scan. Nope, still didn't scan. I hand it back to him, and he's over the top at this point. It's also worth noting the line behind him is now about 10 people strong, including a few regulars watching in amazement as I'm remaining calm. He starts cussing me out and demands a contact for my manager. I pull out our paperwork and provide him with a number for our corporate office. "No, stupid, I want your manager, not your corporate office." "Okay, I gave you my manager's manager." I gladly handed him the store's number, which would come to me, and shared the hours my manager typically worked so he'd be free to try to call. After he left, I made a point to apologize to each person in line for the extra wait, while each also expressed surprise I hadn't snapped at the dude. Needless to say, he never made that call to my manager, though I don't know if he ever found his beer. I would have loved every minute of that. If I'd been in line, I wouldn't have minded the wait at all. The entertainment would have been totally worth it. And our last story. HOA president versus rule stickler resident. I'm the current president of my HOA and a past association manager for a property management company. The HOA I live in isn't so bad, except for one resident who hates everything in the world. Unfortunately, he was a resident and on-site manager for a while, as well as being on the board after he finished screwing up as an on-site manager. He had a problem with the storm door that my wife and I installed. It is/was the wrong shade of off-white. They sent me a letter stating the problem and that I was to go to a meeting about it with the board to discuss what I could do to fix the problem. I got online and downloaded copies of the laws that govern HOAs in my state and highlighted the important parts. The important part was in regard to the statute of limitations on architecture reviews. The short version is that the HOA has 1 year to take action, sue, on incorrect architectural things. We installed our door 5+ years ago. I brought this to the board's attention. I was told that state law didn't matter if the covenant says differently. I was told I needed to paint my door or they would talk to their lawyer. I informed them that I would not be painting my door and that according to the law, they cannot do anything to my door without facing criminal charges. After a bunch of letters being sent back and forth by attorneys, nothing happened. The annual meeting rolled around and the entire board was dismissed and a new board was voted into place. I ended up president and regret it at least once a month. Lesson learned, know your rights, folks, and don't be afraid to stand up for yourself when the HOA tries to throw its weight around. It's your home, your rules. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.